Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to One Piece, episodes 878 to 881. And yeah, we are beginning the Reverie arc today, because we have just finished Whole Cake Island last time around. And yeah, this is what's next. So, I know a little bit about the Reverie arc, just because, again, just like with Whole Cake Island, I've been so far behind. It's like it's been kind of impossible not to hear things. But I don't know everything. Um, I just know there's a couple things that are going to be coming up. I don't know if it's going to be in these episodes or not, but we'll have to see. I don't even fully know what this entire thing's about. I just know like the littlest details, which I won't get into just in case. Um, but this is kind of like a mini filling arc between um God, my mind is blanking. Whole Cake and Wano. And it's not like it's a filler arc. It's just giving some space between two major arcs. Um because Wano I know is going to be pretty damn big. But yeah, we're just taking a little break from that, and so I'm very interested to see exactly what happens with this. Especially if Morgans was able to get the news out regarding the Straw Hats' escape from Totoland. Um, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen now because technically Big Mom was never defeated. She could still come after them, and she very likely will. Um, so it's like this plot point hasn't even fully been like completed yet because really the only member of their crew that was like fully defeated in the end was Katakuri. Like the rest of them were just kind of like gotten past. So it's going to be interesting to see if that goes anywhere in this arc or if it goes somewhere in Wano, yada yada yada. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Excited to see what we have with this Reverie arc, and hopefully we get another fantastic arc akin to how good Whole Cake was. Um, because I actually figured out where I would rank Whole Cake Island in terms of my favorite arcs. I told you last time that I would figure that out by the next video, so here we are. After a lot of thought put into it, I put it at number two. I still like Arlong Park just a little bit more. That's my number one still. And mainly because Arlong Park honestly was the arc that really invested me in the series and made me like truly realize that I love One Piece. So Arlong Park also, on top of just being a really damn good arc, really it also means a lot in terms of my One Piece journey. So I put Whole Cake Island as number two, which means it did beat out Dressrosa, which is now at number three. Um, and to just address that real quick, I'm still thinking that overall I like Doflamingo better as a villain, just overall, than Big Mom or even specifically Katakuri. Doflamingo, I don't know, just the charisma and presence he had, just it's gonna be insanely hard to defeat. Gonna be insanely hard to usurp that. But at the same time, Katakuri was damn close. I still think I like Doflamingo better as a villain, and Dressrosa had a couple moments that, if the entire arc were like that, would have definitely not been surpassed by Whole Cake. But Whole Cake overall just really impressed me, more so. And the fact that it's not as obnoxiously long helps as well. There's it's more focused. There's still a lot going on, but it's more focused than Dressrosa was. And I think that definitely helps as to why I like it just a little bit more, just a little bit. I still love Dressrosa, mind you, but just a little bit for Whole Cake edging it out. But that being said, I'm like I said, I'm very excited to get into this. We have 4 episodes once again. We're not doing 5 again like last time. That was only just to finish out the arc. We're back to 4, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Will we have new bounties since they escaped from Toto Land? Will Jinbei catch up to them now, or will wait until Wano? I'm thinking it's going to wait until Wano. And what's going to happen on their journey? And will we start to see the Straw Hats that we haven't seen since the Zoe arc? Because there's a number of Straw Hats we haven't even seen since Zoe. Frankie, Zoro, Robin, Usopp. We haven't seen them since before Whole Cake Island started, and it's like I kind of miss them, you know? Plus, I want to see if this series can actually start to do Frankie right again after he had been completely character assassinated post time skip. So I'm hoping that he actually gets some real time to shine once again coming up. Because right now he's definitely at the bottom of my rankings for the Straw Hats. But you'll have seen that because by the point this is up, I'll have already posted my top 10 One Piece, or my rankings for the One Piece Straw Hat crew. Yeah. But that will be posted before this, so you'll have seen the rankings already. So yeah, you'll know that Frankie is my very bottom. Just because of post time skip reasons and stuff. But yeah, you can go check out that video if you for some reason haven't seen it to get all the details there. It's actually one of those rare videos that is not redirected because it's not a video. Or I'm not using video clips, rather. I'm actually discussing them because I want to actually share my reasons on why they rank where they do. At this point in the series, mind you, but anywho, I can ramble on and on about stuff, you know. We're going to take this opportunity to just get into it before I ramble off even more. And hope for the best as the Reverie arc begins. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I don't know if this is what the entire Reverie arc is going to be like, but if it is, I'm going to be a little disappointed. Because while the new stuff is great, and I'll get to that in a moment, the fact that, honestly, most of what we've got in this arc so far, in these first 4 episodes, has been just recap, is really disappointing. Like, oh, excuse me. Like, I understand of wanting occasionally to recap a few things, to just remind the audience of certain things and everything, but all 4 of these episodes have had enormous amounts of recap in them after an arc in which there was a lot of recap stuff. at least during one part of the arc. During there was one portion of Whole Cake Island that did a lot of recap on Sanji and everything. Um, and it was just like constant recapping shit and everything. And it was like I remember I was like really kind of annoyed by it because there was very little to talk about at that time because of it. Um, and it's the same case here, and it's just like two arcs in a row to do that, and one of them's a smaller arc in the first place. It's like that's not really the best idea. Um, because yeah, there's going to be some fans who haven't seen those portions in a long ass time. But there's also going to be plenty of us who rewatch that kind of stuff, whether through rewatching the series with reactors or just having seen the series multiple times or certain parts of the series multiple times. And at this point, it's like, it's annoying to constantly be shown this stuff when we want the new content. And again, I do not know if it was like this in the manga. I do not know if the manga recapped this stuff or if this was just put in the anime to kind of like stall on more time rather than having just a bunch of filler thrown in. Let's just throw in a bunch of recap instead. And it's like, oh my goodness. So there's not going to be a lot to actually discuss here. There's really only three things. So I'll start with the not really smallest, but the one that had the least amount of time dedicated to it during this. Um, so the newspaper is delivered, and we find out big news Morgans did get the word out, and within a number of ways too. Not only is it revealed that Luffy had escaped, but it's revealed that even Luffy defeated Katakuri and everything. Everything's being talked about to a point. Um, and then we find out that Luffy, his bounty increased to 1.5 billion berries. And mind you, that that he mistook it at first, thought it decreased because he's a moron. But at the same time, this is huge, obviously, because they're basically saying that because he won in a way against the forces of Big Mom and was able to accomplish his missions there and escape, he's being referred to by Morgans in the paper basically as an unofficial fifth emperor. Which, while unofficial, it still sends a message to people. Not only to the forces of the likes of Big Mom, Kaido, Shanks, and Blackbeard as the four official emperors, but it also sends a message to pretty much everyone out there that the Straw Hats are one of the biggest forces in the world right now. That because of their victory against Big Mom, they are seen as a massive threat, completely overshadowing pretty much everyone else outside of the emperors themselves. And of course, the emperors have their own reactions to this. Big Mom herself is upset because she doesn't believe that she lost, because she wasn't actually defeated herself or anything. And the paper mentioned the defeat of Katakuri and everything, but let's be honest, like even when you look at it just as it was, they won. Again, the Straw Hats, they got into Totoland, they accomplished every goal they had, except for killing Big Mom, which was never technically the Straw Hats' goal. That was more Veggie's goal, but still. They accomplished their goals and they escaped. They won. They didn't defeat Big Mom in terms of like in battle or anything, but they defeated like her second son one of her strongest subordinates, if not her strongest, and they escaped. I'm hammering that in because that's a big deal. The fact that they escaped from Totoland. So again, like objectively, they won. They may not have physically defeated her in combat, but they still won. Kaido is upset at this because he's still upset at Luffy fucking up with his smile manufacturing and all that. And Shanks is just kind of excited about it. It's like, oh, we're gonna meet soon, aren't we? uh, Blackbeard, meanwhile, is more on the vein of, oh no, this is too early. He's not an emperor yet. He's too early. Kind of just not really mocking the idea, but more along the lines of just like making light of it. So there's that as well. Um, that entire plot point, like the entire idea of Luffy misreading it and everything, and them finding out eventually that it was 1.5 billion, it was okay. I had no real heavy thoughts on it. Um, we'll just have to see what comes of that. We'll just have to see what comes of it. Um, and yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure. But moving on from that, we also had the Reverie, which this arc focuses on. So I'm going to talk about that next because I want to leave the best for last. The Reverie itself hasn't actually started yet. We're just having everyone on their way. It is a gathering of royals held every 4 years. Um, and it's held in Marishwa. So, yeah, going to the capital, basically. So we see multiple different sets of royals on their way there. We get a little bit with King Riku's group and everything, a little bit with King Neptune's group. We get to see Kobe and Helmeppo save King Riku's group, as well as another princess from a group of pirates who are trying to take them out and ransom them and shit. Um, so yeah, that's all happening. But in the meantime, Fujitora is heading there himself against the orders of Fleet Admiral Sakazuki, formerly known as Akainu. There's also another admiral who we have not yet met, who was mentioned by Sakazuki, who is being given the orders to stop Fujitora. Because Sakazuki's orders are that Fujitora is not allowed to set foot in a Navy building until he captures Luffy and Law. So yeah, that's happening. Um, and the third facet of new stuff we got in this first look at the Reverie arc is definitely by far the best and most interesting. So, a pirate named Peachbeard, working as an ally to Blackbeard, invades I believe it was the Lulaka Kingdom or something like that. Um, while their king is away, their king, not only the king but all of the like highly skilled soldiers and stuff. While they're away for the Reverie, Peachbeard attacks, and they're violently destroying everything. They're killing people, stealing everything they can, including the money meant for the sacrifices to the celestial dragons. Everything. Um, oh, excuse me. And during all of this, um, the four captains of the Revolutionary Army appear. And I don't remember all of their names. Um, the first one well, technically the first one to appear is Bello Betty, but the first one to really appear, to actually really be shown, is the one giant dude. So he's a giant who uses this trident to apparently like travel through the ground as if it were like water or something. And he can even move it around at will, can completely manipulate it. It makes me think of Seko's Oasis from JoJo Part 5. It's very similar to that. Being able to manipulate and kind of like move through the ground at will like that. Um, but yeah, it's really interesting to see him manipulate it so easily and so fluidly. It's really interesting to see. He also has this kind of personality where he's very I wouldn't say like shy, but more bashful. He's kind of bashful when it comes to people staring at him because of his mini skirt and everything. And the way he talks, he's acting like some kind of bashful schoolgirl who's like upset at everyone staring, trying to look up her skirt or something. It's a really interesting character trait to give him, but I don't mind it necessarily. It's not like done horribly. It's kind of ridiculous and funny. Um, we also meet this guy who might be a mink. I'm not 100% sure, but he definitely looks like he's very like animal like. So I'm thinking he's probably a mink. Um, and he seems to be the technologically focused one. He has like this gun that can shoot out like bursts of ice that can freeze opponents and stuff. He's also like seen flying through the air and stuff on like a jetpack or whatnot, and he's very high energy in comparison to the other guy. Um, but on top of that, we then have the next member, Karasu. Karasu is this crow guy, and I don't know if that's a devil fruit power, if that's just something else, but he seems to be able to not only control the crows, but it almost seems like he's made of crows. His little character trait is that he's very uh almost looks like emotional. Like he gets angry easily. He gets really upset with almost no provocation. And at the same time, it seems like maybe because of his mask, he needs to have like this speaker system turned on that he has underneath the mask in order to properly communicate. Otherwise, he's just kind of muffled. So that's really interesting. He forgot to turn it on the entire time that they were there. But the real star of these four captains was Bello Betty. Like, without question. And not just because of the boobs that the other girl falls into when Bello Betty first arrives. Um, it's actually because of her devil fruit and her personality. So all of these characters have had these personality traits, and Bello Betty's is, you know who it reminds me of? Some of you might not get the reference, but in the My Little Pony spin-off Equestria Girls, there's this character named Sour Sweet, whose entire joke is that she switches between being sour and sweet in terms of her personality. So it's basically like a tsundere, kind of. Um, and that's kind of what Bello Betty reminds me of, because there's moments in here where she's blatantly insulting uh, these villagers, but then she pumps them up, and by the end, like she actually like tells this girl, it's like you did very well, and she's being so genuine and nice and everything. It's like I kind of dig this. Um, her design is really interesting too. It's I don't know, something about it is just really cool to me. Like that's how she comes across. She comes across as cool. But let's be honest. The big thing to talk about is her devil fruit ability. So Bello Betty has the pump pump fruit, which upon waving her flag, which I assume she can probably do with any flag or any kind of like even just any kind of like anything, a piece of paper even would probably work. But upon waving that, she can actually mentally and physically pump up people around her. She can basically give them the confidence and ability to fight, to stand up for themselves. And as I said in the reaction, this is a phenomenal ability to have for someone in the Revolutionary Army, because that's kind of their entire thing, encouraging and pumping up people to fight for themselves against the oppressive world government. So it's like, hell fucking yeah. And it was just really cool to see it in action too, to see these people who are so dejected and down on their luck and so horrified by everything that Peachbeard and them had been doing, and then to see them suddenly just like get super confident, pick up the sticks and everything and fight back. Especially the girl, the milk girl, dealing the finishing blow on Peachbeard himself. That was so cathartic after the scene we saw of him mistreating her and being super shitty to her and just slapped her aside so violently. That kind of shit always like pisses me off, mind you, but yeah, it's like it feels so cathartic and really, really good when revenge is gotten in that situation. So I really liked that. Um, but yeah, seriously, that part was definitely the most interesting. And we even get to see that on Ivankov's island, the rest of the Revolutionary Army are preparing to straight up go to war with the world government. They're meeting with each other, waiting for the captains who did get sidetracked by this, mind you. But they're that is what their plan is. They are planning to start war against the world government. And it's like this is what I wanted to see from them. The Revolutionary Army has been slowly built up, and I've been waiting for that moment when they're going to declare war on the world government, because that's kind of been what their entire thing has been leading to, and I'm super excited for this. Um, it's going to be so damn good. And I don't think we're going to get like any big stuff right away. This is just the start. Just like with Shanks saying that him and Luffy are going to meet again soon, this is just the start of this plot line. It's just telling us that yeah, this is about to happen and it's going to be big, but it's not going to be necessarily right away, not going to necessarily be instantaneous, constant fighting. We're still going to focus on the Straw Hats and everything. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see that, and hopefully we get sprinkles of that throughout this arc and maybe even throughout Wano. I would be very, very happy to see that. But in the meantime, the fact that we get to meet these new characters, these new members of the Revolutionary Army, these captains, is really cool in and of itself. And just getting to see their powers and the way they work together, they work excellently together. They have great like combat chemistry. So it's like I was actually wondering about that because they seemed so different, and then they started actually fighting together. It's like, oh no, that shit, they actually work extremely well together. Um, but yeah, I'm really interested to see more of them going forward as well. Um, I really want to see more of that. I want to see Bello Betty actually battle because she didn't actually do any fighting here. She just used her devil fruit power to pump other people up. So she seems more like a support class type of character, but I want to see if she can actually battle herself. Um, but yeah, overall, I did really enjoy these episodes for the new stuff we got, but the constant recap stuff was just too much. It's unnecessary. It really is. Like if you want to like mention something briefly, like that's fine, but to do this level of recapping, it just feels honestly like a waste of time, and it probably is. I could completely believe that this was not in the manga, and these recaps were only added to the anime in order to fill time, in order to fill time so that the manga could get further ahead. Like, they might have mentioned the stuff in the manga. I could believe Oda would do that, but it probably didn't show these constant, really in depth recaps. And it really didn't need to either. It's like it really wasn't needed to get the point across. So it's like annoying, especially because of that. Um, but yeah, overall, overall, I did enjoy the new stuff, and that is what keeps me excited about continuing forward with this arc. I just hope that these recaps finish quickly, and just we leave it at that, and just don't come back to all these constant recaps. Um, but I am excited to see where this goes. So for now, tell me what you thought of these episodes, specifically the new content, in the comments below. Especially tell me what you thought of the Revolutionary Army's captains. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in, and for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.